Racing on the Vaal on Tuesday. We are racing on Tuesday, and it is a public holiday, 24th of September 2024, Heritage Day. And joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Raheel. On the back of a great weekend at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, it must be said. That was a thoroughly enjoyable Bri Buck and Brew. We got another one, Bubbles and Blossoms, coming up this weekend with the Cuda Matcham Stakes and the Baker McVeigh Diana Stakes. Obviously sad, the right decision to have lost racing on Sunday, or moved racing on Sunday to Wednesday, Hollywoodbets Greyville on the turf. And then add in a night meeting or a twilight meeting on Friday at Hollywoodbets Greyville. So all those meetings are saved. I believe you guys were basically swimming in the first part of the weekend, and also snowed in the further up the hill you went. But yeah, it's a good time at the moment. Some nice horses are starting to step up. We're not too far away from really getting the big races on the half felt underway. And what I was getting to is obviously on the back of two blank days of racing on the South African calendar, going into a public holiday as it is on Heritage Day at the Vaal, I think there'll be some added interest into the card, and I don't mind the look of the card. We're on the back of two winning exotics. I think that a lot of people were in the back of two winning exotics in the last two meetings on the half felt. A lot of the fancied horses have done the business for us, so hopefully we can ride that momentum. And also on the same note, and perhaps a little bit of a different step, maybe we can get a little bit more of a payout and hope for a pick six that pays more than $2,000 this time.
Yeah, it's certainly been favourable punting out at and favourable results out at Turfentine and the Highveld meeting of the last week. But let's see how Tuesday does go. Race number 1, Work Riders Maiden Plate, fillies and mares, 1400 meters. Number 1, Cat O'Clock, the favourite here, trading at 5.5 to 10, 9 to 2. Last card to pass. Black Horse Sunday, 11 to 2. It's an 8 to 1 and better bar those. Now, Alistair, this filly Cat O'Clock, she certainly won't get an easy opportunity to get the job done, but she has found herself in races where you would have thought she'd win, especially that race to Kylie's Angel, the Work Riders race of the 1200. But do you think Tuesday is a day to get the job done?
Well, I think the first bit of housekeeping is the configuration of the track at the Vaal. We're on the original course, and the inside rail is set at 0, and the outside rail 10 meters in from the 1450 to the 600. So that just tells me low numbered draws. Fancy those down the straight, and Cat O'Clock has drawn 1. I know it's a small field, so draw 7 out of 7. You know, it will draw 7 out of 14 down the straight. Wouldn't be a total train smash, but the lower the better. Cat O'Clock drawn 1. Pelasila Mklawa is a top class work rider. He brings them home time and time again for Tony Peter. Interesting observation that you make, that she's probably not going to get an easier opportunity, although I agree with that. I think that she's conspired to get herself beaten, because at the 400 she always looks like she's got so much running in hand and never really goes on with it. So maybe 1400 meters might stretch her just slightly, but when you look around and shop around for dangers, there's just nothing that comes anywhere near the level of form that number 1 Cat O'Clock brings in. So this literally is a case of now or never, and with the maidens and with the field starting to crank up a little bit on the half felt, she will just not get a better opportunity. So I think this will be her day. There's no point opposing her just because I think that she finds the right opposition. The two horses that do interest me, also just bear in mind that Tony Peter's got a horse number 7, Pearly Ash, who doesn't look like she's got much of a chance. Is she there just to keep the race alive? We shall see. The two horses that I think remain of some sort of interest are the two St. John Grey horses, because they've got good work riders on, and St. John's having a wonderful time with things at the moment. Number 5 on a jet plane will improve from the first start. It's not a very promising form line, but there is something to come from number 5 on a jet plane. She'll definitely step forward and I think run into the first 3. And number 6 Paris Party, simply on the basis that Anati Fernie takes a ride on number 6 Paris Party. She's bred for much further. I remember the mother, Parisian Chic, she punched above her weight time and time again. I don't expect either of them to turn over number 1 Cat O'Clock, but if you're looking just to play alternative bets, and those are two to consider.
Yeah, number 5 is at 12 to 1, and then you've got number 6 at 25 to 1 in the market, and they could be good exact inclusions. Race number 2 next up, Maiden Plate, 1400 meters is the distance here, and the favourite is number 1 Kuru Gold, narrowly favourite at 3 to 1. 33 to 10 about Pennsylvania, it is Kailash Cyborg at 4 to 1. 7 to 1 Good to Great, it's 8 to 1 and better bar those. No scratchings here. It's a full field. And Alistair, what's your thoughts here on race number 2? Kuru Gold, the obvious thing would be that the trip is on the sharp side for him.
don't know about that. I mean, you'd ordinarily think so, Raheel, but it's a total reset. He's been off for being gelded and just given a little bit of TLC back home and getting into the swing of things again. His work is very good for what it's worth. Yes, fitness needs to be taken on trust. You'd ordinarily believe that he'll come on with a run under the belt, and also the blinkers come off number 1, Karoo Gold, which is an interesting stance taken by Candice Dawson. I'd like to believe he'll be bang there, but no real confidence in the fact that he's coming back from a break. If he were to win, we expect him to be in the top 3 in this race because he has just run with a lot better than some of the other horses in this race. But he wouldn't be 100% popping. But with that said, he's not without hope. He's no bar pot banker, he's definitely no bar pot banker. He should run into the first 3 for PA purposes. I would lean towards number 6, Kalish Cyborg, though, just probably being the right one here due to the draw of number 1. Pilasande Poli takes the ride. I've made my feelings known about the Corrupt form line. I think Corrupt is well above average, but I don't think there was much else in the race. And then last time, I think Kalish Cyborg, dare I say, almost ran to form, getting well beaten by Force de Dieu. The second horse, Bus Stop, and Hounslow came out and ran 3rd subsequently. But what is interesting is the horse who ran 2 lengths behind Kalish Cyborg is Jahan, who won a good race and a weak maiden on Saturday, but he's got something about him the further he goes, Jahan. So at least that form line is indirectly working out. So I think the inside draw is going to help number 8, Kalish Cyborg here, and he's the one that I'm going to put out on top. Interesting that Gavin Arena rides a well-bred first-timer for Tony Peter in the form of number 11, Pennsylvania. Watch the market on that. And also the 2 Soma first-timers, both by William Longsword. I'd venture to say that both of them would be more effective over further. Muzieni, I suppose, or I assume, would have had the choice, and he's gone with number 10, Mega Hit, over number 7, Enforced Law, who's got the advantage of an inside draw. I think both of those will probably come on with a run under the belt. So the way that I'm going to tip them is 8, 1, 11 and 10 bracketed for 3rd and 4th, maybe number 6, Chariot of Fire. For me, Chariot of Fire is the most interesting horse in the race. I can't tip him on top because I think the 1 and all form was weak, but we're going to get a very good gauge of what to expect from the Heather's Boy form line coming out of this run. Chariot of Fire made no impression behind Heather's Boy, but I think that's because Heather's Boy is a cut or 3 above the opposition that he ran with.
Yeah, I was going to actually mention the 6 horse to you and ask you what's your thoughts on him, but thankfully you touched on him at 8-1 in the market. I thought he could be some value. I think he's better than his last start, and there was a bit of early betting support for the son of Captain of All on debut before he went out to 4-1, so he could be the horse that you just keep on the safe side here in race number 2. Moving along to race number 3, which will be the start of the pick 6, and this is a race that Winds of Change should really canter to victory. He's at we'll call that 3-10 or 2.5-10 if you want to call it. It's in 10-1 and better by those. Now Alistair is run against the best of his generation as a 2-year-old. We know that he did run in features at his first 2 starts, and then when put into a maiden plate he was beaten by Don't Cry For Me. But in this race it's very, very, very hard to look past him.
Unless one of the first timers are very good, and if one of the first timers turn over number 1 Winds of Change, it will need to be close to a grade 1 quality horse, if not a grade 1 quality horse. How can you oppose this horse, number 1 Winds of Change? There's no way I can sit here and motivate him getting beaten. He's prohibitive odds, but he's that for a reason. I actually didn't realize on Hollywoodbets Durbanville and the Durban Golden Horseshoe how unlucky he was. Does he beat Cosmic Speed? No. But does he run better than 5th? Absolutely yes. He's been tested at the highest level. You're right, the only time he ran a maiden company, he was beaten by Don't Cry For Me. That was the meeting where they moved from down the straight to the Vaal Classic, and he was stuck, drawn out of 7 out of 7. Had that been down the straight where it looked like outside numbers were going to be advantageous on the day, I think it would have been a totally different story, and he wouldn't be running in this race, and he wouldn't have looked totally out of place in the grade 1s and grade 2s that he ran in subsequently. So number 1 Winds of Change will win, I think. And if a first timer does turn him over, at least we got the pick 6 rule to help us out. The pick 6 is my suggested bet. There's no way that you can oppose this horse. The only way there are 2 ways he gets beaten, as mentioned, one of the first timers being of grade 1 quality, or he just has an almighty off day, and I think even if he does have an off day, he'll still beat them.
Yeah, I think Adam Azzi has just kept the race alive with numbers 7 and 9. Yeah, I mean, if they don't run, then I think the race is a lot weaker, and maybe some horses don't accept it. So let's see how it goes. But number 1 Winds of Change very hard to beat in race number 3. Race number 4, maiden plate fillies, 3-year-old fillies, 1200 meters the distance, 2:15 is the off time, and Anne of Denmark is the favorite here at 2-1, so 5-2 into 2-1. Faithful Mistress at 2-1. Explosive Gift 5-2, Shake It 7-1, 8-1, and Better Bar Those. Now, this seems to be a very interesting contest that will get the jackpot started, because I thought this first time Explosive Gift could be of interest on debut for Lucky Odelakis and Craig Zaki. And then you've got support for number 2, Anne of Denmark here, Calvin Abib and Tony Peter.
I think, Raheel, when it comes to the pick 6, you only need 2 horses, because only 2 horses with experience can win the race. But when you're looking at your jackpot, which obviously doesn't accommodate the first-timer rule, then all the first-timers are of interest. The first one that I want to mention, you talk about Explosive Gift, trained by Lucky Odelakis. Lucky trained the half-brother by Duke of Marmalade, Duke of Rain, who was only a 2-time winner, got to a rating of 70. The second foal was Splendid Season, who was with Yop Visser, got to a rating of 50. The third foal ran 3 times. Lancaster Rain was also trained by Lucky Odelakis, got retired off a rating of 62, ran 3 times, and was beaten at I'm looking now a combined distance of 25 lengths. So the family, dare I say, is a little bit of an underachiever. Anne of Denmark, trained by Tony Peter, the mother tipping points. I'll just do a little bit of homework about that now. But I think when it comes to these race runners, look, to oppose Faithful Mistress and Shake It, certainly just being the first race runners home, I think will be foolhardy. So use that to your advantage when playing the pick 6. I've got the tipping point family in front of me. The first foal's Volta Fuss, who's trained by Heinrich van der Westhuizen, 2-time winner from 21 starts. Then the Supernova Star, who's now trained by Comnaudu, was with Gogus Governor, 14 starts, 1 win, a Duke of Marmalade. Then there's Anne of Denmark. So genetically, there's not much to get excited about those 2, but yet they don't have to be the best, or they don't have to be much better than their siblings to turn over this field. Faithful Mistress, the form lines had no time to really work out. Definitely got scope to improve on the debut behind Lady Ellie Mo. Pila Sunday probably takes her out for Paul Matcher. They finished off racing at Turfentine with the winner on Saturday. Number 6, Shake It. A fair debut behind Poblano. That's a very, very underwhelming piece of form, dare I say. But she too has got scope to improve a little bit. Number 6, Shake It. So use that in your pick 6 to your advantage. Jackpot, though, tread warily.
Yeah, that is jackpot 1 that will get underway with race number 4. Race number 5 next. This is an MR96 handicap of the 1200 meter trip. It is the start of jackpot 2. Black Egret is the favorite here. It is Samanga Kumalo and Clinton Binder teaming up 3-1 into 5-2. Open Highway 33-10. Rainbow Reward 11-2 along with Bob's Your Uncle. 7-1 roll with the punchers. And then it is double figure odds about the balance. Now, last time out, you read this the script quite nicely with the Open Highway, and I thought he won a very, very good race.
He did. Look, he had the advantage of an inside draw when everything on the inside looked like they were going to be effective. But I think the drop in distance was a catalyst for number 5, Open Highway. He backs up off a £4 penalty, definitely warranted in my opinion. But the manner in which he won, and he made Black Egret sort of, well and truly look like second best on that occasion, does ring in the back of my mind. He's a winning chance. The only issue that you have in this race, Raheel, is that I think it's impossible to ignore any horse. They're just consistent horses that look like they're going to win, that have won at this level before, 1 or 2 that just coming down the handicaps ever so slightly, that makes them quite effective and quite appealing to some sort of extent. We've got horses here that have run at group level that might not be group level horses, but will be effective here. So I've gone field in my pick 6. However, despite the respect I have for all horses, and opening up with number 5, Open Highway, my top choice is number 4, Roll with the Punches. Back in a handicap, ran in a handicap at his penultimate start. He popped up on my radar, second one after rest on the 13th of July, where I actually tipped him on the show to run into the first 4, and tipped him to a few friends of mine when he was drawn towards the outside at Turfentine, and didn't get into it behind Mount Pilatus. That was the race that I think Anfield's Rocket ran second in. But his rating drop is the most interesting part. What also rings in the back of my mind here with number 4, Roll with the Punches, is that on the 3rd of September I was at the Vaal. Everything up the outside featured. He was the only horse on the day that that ran in a straight line, went towards the inside, and he was snared by a short head by Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky ran second just a week earlier, also at the Vaal, backing up from no penalty. I think number 4, Roll with the Punches, is now at the rating and at the level that there's another 1 or 2 left in the tank. His best way is to rip forward and show that electric pace. He's obviously punched well above this weight in the past, so he's the horse that I'm going to tip on top, but there's no way that a win bet is the get out in race number 5. There are a few, and there are lots. In fact, the whole field's got a winning chance, but 4 and 5 and possibly 2 are the 3 horses that I'd be revolving my play around.
Could be some value about Roll with the Punches at around 7-1 in the market, and he's shown signs that he's almost back to his best, and perhaps Tuesday could be the day for him to get that next career victory and make it win at number 7. Next up, race number 6. This is the number 74 handicap over the 1,000 meter trip, and the favorite is number 1 Karate Kid at 16-10. Johnny Appleseed at 2-1, Blaze Away at 28-10, and then it's 7-1. And better bar those. Now, this is not a strong race for these horses that are straight out the maidens, and Karate Kid would be the one that stands out, beaten by Taxi to the Moon when running against winners on debut, and then last time out he looked to be the part, and he won quite a nice race, beating Inspector James, who unfortunately was dropped some Manga Kamala over the weekend, and this race looks to be the right type of race for him, Alistair.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's been well placed by Paul Match at number 1 Karate Kid, but it's no one-way traffic just because of the fact he's got to give some weight away. I know that my good friend Nico Kritsiotis thinks number 1 Karate Kid is above average, and I'm actually of that belief as well. And if you are of that belief, you'd expect him to win at 74 level. He is an 89, but he's a net 74 according to the weight for age scale. Now that to me sounds fair. You didn't get a run for your money obviously with Inspector James on Saturday, but when you consider that Karate Kid ran a length and a half behind Taxi to the Moon, who as you say was just absolutely teed up on that occasion on the 27th of July, Karate Kid came out and beat Inspector James. Like I said, we don't know how that form is ultimately, or how Inspector James is ultimately going to go, but the third horse beats him 2.5 lengths. Bus Stop and Hounslow came out and ran second, as we have already established, beating Jaham in the process. So there's a lot that falls into place for number 1 Karate Kid. The 2 other horses that I've gotten, number 5 Blaze Away. I think if we're giving Karate Kid quite a glowing report, then Blaze Away also needs to come into the picture. He is only going to kick on, although the Mother Berry Blaze was accomplished over a lot further than 1,000 meters. He's doing nothing over the sprints at the moment. Watchman was just the right horse on that account on debut on the 11th of July, but Blaze Away was not disgraced behind an absolute speedball on debut, and then followed up by beating Ombudsman, who I see is nominated absolutely everywhere on Saturday for Turfentine. So that sort of sings as a horse that's doing well at home and is just about ready to win. So Blaze Away, the fact that he receives the 1.5 kilos from number 1 Karate Kid, they're both 3-year-olds, that could be an interesting dynamic. And the other horse I've got in is number 6 Axel Collins. I mean, he's a fit horse, he runs time and time again, he does not win very easily, in fact he doesn't win at all, number 6 Axel Collins, but the fact that he ran a week ago and it was a fair run, he wasn't beaten too far, beaten 2.25 lengths behind Don't Shoot the Barman against established and tried and tested sprinters, drawn towards the inside as well. I don't often have time for number 6 Axel Collins. I've read him well throughout his career when there's been a lot of talk for him. This time it sounds like expectations are underplayed, but I think he'll give his best run in a while, number 6 Axel Collins. I think he'll be right there, if not winning.
I think you've got to include the 3 horse, Alistair, Johnny Appleseed. Yeah, I think that this horse, I think there's something about this horse, because on debut he was supported, and last time out, I know it was a work riders race, but the manner in which he won was quite encouraging, and I think there could be more to come from him. So I think he would be the horse that has to go into the play. And Karate Kid, you mentioned that Nico thinks a lot of him, and you have the same sort of agreement here, and he could well be above average number 1 Karate Kid, and I think there's no doubt that he's the horse to beat here. But these other 3 horses, well, they could certainly put up their hand in race number 6. Race number 7, 74 handicap over 2,000 meters. Eiger Sanction favorite at 18-10. Can he make it 3 in a row?
He definitely can, Raheel. I've gone in with 4 horses in this race, and the pick 6, him being one of them. But my top choice here is number 2, Dual Prophecy. I like Dual Prophecy under Striker. The full brother to See It Again. He is no See It Again, obviously. I know that Joe Soam has been scratching his head with the son of Twice Over, because I remember on debut behind San Simon, he put up a lovely run. He just looked like he was going to win sooner and just regressed. But since giving time and coming back and freshening up and maturing and all that, he's been a different horse. I know he ran over 2,000 meters last time out behind Eiger Sanction, but purely at the weights, he's got a big prayer third run after arrest, Striker back on board. He's the horse I'm tipping on top here, number 2, Dual Prophecy, just simply because of the weight turnaround and the fact that he's got Striker on board. Eiger Sanction, I mean, St. John Gray with that filly Risky Business, take a bow, St. John. He's played the handicap on the break with Risky Business, and it's not impossible that he's pretty much on the same track with number 3, Eiger Sanction. £10 for 2 wins, but 2 commanding wins, and even though he won by 2 lengths beating Caliburn just 17 days earlier, I'd like to believe that win was a little bit more emphatic than that margin suggested. He is up in grade, yes, and the fact that he gets a lot of weight to carry and the weights don't necessarily favour him, you can't ignore the fact that St. John's just on a roll at the moment. For Shimianari, the fact that he's coming down in class, he's now a 75 for Shimianari. If I told Stuart Pettigrew a year ago that the son of Daniel Platina would be a 75, you'd think I'm mad. Draw 1 is where he's drawn. He's got to have some sort of say under Calvin Habib. And number 5, Master TikTok, is interesting. Took him a while to win. He beat High Q, who has subsequently won a maiden. But if you look at all the Battle of Barberton form, or there's only him and Diesel Shadow, he's got number 1, Diesel Shadow cold, and the fact that Diesel Shadow, I think, is going to be vulnerable over 2,000 meters. He ran well over 2,000 last time, but I think absolute max 1,800 for number 1, Diesel Shadow. I think that Master TikTok's going to stay ahead of him. So those are the 4 winning chances, I think. The 4 horses I've got in my pick 6. And in order, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's how I see the race going.
Dual Prophecy, the top pick in race number 7. Race number 8, final race on the day. This is a novice handicap over 1,400 meters, and your favorite here, number 3, Beemanesque at 3-1, 33-10, Wild Intent, Happy Mo 4-1, Give Me a Choice 6-1, and Better Bar those. Now, Alistair, this horse Beemanesque, well, he's been held in high regard from the start of his career, and could Tuesday be the day to strike with the son of Rafif? Last time out, he showed signs of life. Once again, went third to Mount Pinatubo. Second in that race was the Specialist. Could he be the one to beat in race number 8?
Yes, is the answer. Although I've got 5 horses in my pick 6, he stands out here because I think the best version of Beemanesque is better than anyone else in this race. It's his first run over this distance at the Vaal Straight. Has he got the game for it? That is the big question, but he doesn't seem to be a horse that pulls, so that's going to be in his favour. If he does overdo it over 1,400 metres for the first time in his life, you could be in a bit of trouble, so that's why I've kicked for touch. But an inside draw with Gavin Lorena on board with Mike de Kock and Joburg, number 3, Beemanesque, does make the most appeal for me. You can tell by the fact that he's been sparingly raced in the space of just over a year. He's had 6 starts. When I remember Gavin Lorena actually riding this horse at Turfentine on the 14th of October and singing this horse's praises in the interview, and you can just tell the fact that he was off for 9 months, that things went awry and he's slowly building up. Grade 1 horses finished in front of him last time, Mount Pinatubo and the Specialist. Nothing wrong with that effort. He's in a novice handicap. I think that he's just teed up here, number 3, Beemanesque. So the best version of him will win, but is he quite the best version of himself? That remains to be seen. So my backup comes in the form of number 1, Happy Mo. She's got to give weight away, but her last run to Chasing Happiness was a very good effort. I still think she's better over further than 1,400 metres, but she ran so well coming out fresh last time over 1,200 that it's a run too good to ignore. Number 4, Give Me a Choice, banging at the door, dropping in distance, gets blinkers. If the blinkers bring out any improvement, he's one to watch. Number 5, Wild Intent, could be anything. Didn't beat much first time out, did Wild Intent. Finished in front of Potberry. The horse who ran 5th, 12 o'clock high, came out and won, but everything else in that race has gone missing. And then number 9 on the card, Khalida, the fact that it's got the 52 kilos. I know that he's under sufferance and I know that he's average, but his last run to Risky Business was good enough, and I'd kick myself if he won and I left him out. So I've gone with more than half the field, but Beemanesque is definitely my top choice just because it looks like he's coming back to himself, and if he is himself, he'll win.
Yeah, keen to see number 3, Beemanesque, back in action. 3-1 is his current price. And let's see how he goes in race number 8. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now. And Alistair will take us through his suggested bet for racing on Tuesday out at the Vaal. It is a public holiday, and as you heard early on in the show, he's tipped us a pick 6 for the day. Alistair, take it away.
Okay, so the pick 6 gets underway at 13:40. So while the Briars are blazing, we'll be watching Winds of Change win the first leg. So Banker 1 by 5 and 6, Faithful Mistress and Shake It. A reminder, if you're playing Jackpot 1, to respect those first timers and watch the money. At least that's the advantage you got. Watch them go down to the stars and check the market. By field in race 5, which is leg 3, by 1, 5 and 6, Karate Kid Blaze Away and Axel Collins. You want Johnny Appleseed, I'll race you home with Axel Collins in that race. But the fact is it's a slim pick 6, so you probably can afford putting in number 3, Johnny Appleseed. By 2, 3, 4, 5, Dual Prophecy, Iger Sanction for Shimi Anari and Master TikTok. By 1, 3, 4, 5 and 9. So those are Happy Mo, Beemanesque, Gimme a Choice, Wild Intent and Kalida.
That is a pick 6 that gets underway in race number 3. 13:40 the off time, and it is all about Winds of Change in leg number 1. Alistair, thank you very much. Looking forward to the meeting on Tuesday, and have a wonderful week ahead.
Shottery Hill, yeah, same to you. Lots going on in KZN with 3 meetings this week, so enjoy it in your neck of the woods. I'll definitely be tuned in and watching it all, and this weekend should be a good one. Also looking forward to Thursday's card at the Vaal. There might be a few treasures lined up there. That is my type of card, so hopefully we can find a few winners all over the place.
We'll certainly tune into the show on Thursday for racing up in Highveld. All the best with racing on Tuesday. That is out at the Vaal. It is a public holiday, and I'm sure that the pools will be worthwhile playing into.